Welcome to Ride Realized.
So we just had Black Friday, and here in North America, Black Friday over here is typically one of the bigger ones. And I wanted to do this video because I always see posts on social media from people flaming retailers about sales being crap, not having items that people actually want. And I wanted to do something to maybe help people understand why that happens, and that it's not retailers being sort of out of the loop on what people want, but it's restrictions that they face with something called MAP policy and how that dynamic works. So I'm going to zip through this quick. I do just have some point form notes for myself to keep me on track, but I don't have this scripted, so I'm kind of winging it. I have worked in retail for the ADB segment for a long time, both online and in store. So I've had some lashback about sales and, why is our sale crap? So I kind of want to touch base on that. First, I think you have to understand how distribution networks work, where you can have a manufacturer. So in ADB bikes, let's say Moscow Moto, they create their product and then they're direct to consumer, so you buy through their site. They don't have distributors here in North America. You're just buying direct from them. Second type, which is more common for what we would see on the day-to-day, is a wholesaler network. So you would have someone like Motul for oils, who then would sell through a wholesaler. Here in Canada, we have 5 or 6 main ones that are pretty massive. 2 or 3 are huge and supply a bulk of your general motorcycle pieces, and they're going to supply everybody. So if you want to bring in Motul, you're going to deal with their wholesaler. Typically you're not going direct unless you're getting massive volumes where you can negotiate that. So most stores are ordering from the same places, have the same access. If you have a mom and pop shop who carries some things, there's a good chance that they can get the exact same stuff as the major online retailers. They may not just show it online or have it in store. So sometimes if you want to support local brick and mortar, it's worth asking them, if you don't see something, if they can get it in. So MAP policy is minimum advertised pricing, and it's restrictions that are put against retailers, so whoever's selling to customer, to keep the field neutral for anyone who's selling. So it really helps small retailers, your local bike shop, compete with massive retailers and not get knocked out, because everybody's on the same field. Everyone has to have the same minimum price. You can mark it up over that if you want to, but it's to stop from undercutting or heavily discounting. The manufacturers control MAP policy. So a lot of the popular manufacturers that you're wanting to see in the sales, if they're not participating that time of year, like Black Friday again, which is a common sale, they're aware of that, they're smart, they have good marketing teams. If they've decided not to participate, the retailer can't participate because they're under restriction. They're given MAP holidays or times of the year or notices when they can discount, and typically that's provided from a wholesaler, and it lets everybody know, hey, if you want to participate, this manufacturer is providing this level of discount. You have a window that you're allowed to reduce it for your sale, and then you have to make sure that pricing is adjusted back after the sale. So the issue that comes into play is if you violate a MAP policy, you will get a warning. Typically it's a store has noticed, or a company has noticed, that your price is discounted, usually through customer feedback. You can have your relationship with your wholesaler, again, if it's a large wholesaler and they're supplying a bulk of your parts, you could have your relationship with them impacted. You could be restricted on not being able to purchase from that company through your wholesaler, again, depending on how many times you get hit. Most of the time, everybody's decent. It's usually a mistake, like a web error, someone's put a price up wrong, there's been a calculation code, and you correct it and everybody's fine. But if it's a repeated thing, it could dramatically impact on small businesses. So everybody typically adheres to it. So again, I wanted to keep this short, but maybe it just gives people something to think about when you see a sale come on and it doesn't have any popular items that you've been waiting for. It's maybe not the retailer. It's worth some time sending them an email and just asking if a company will be participating, if that company isn't participating, they won't be participating anywhere. They keep it pretty neutral across the board that every retailer is going to have access if there is a discount period from these major companies that people are seeking. So this definitely isn't a retail economics class or anything. I'm not coming across or trying to come across as an expert. I just wanted to convey things from sort of the other side of the desk to hopefully help people out and understand and maybe get rid of some of that frustration around sale time if you've ever felt that, not seeing the product that you want be on sale. Sometimes you can wait. This is a great time to reach out to retailers and maybe look for an alternative that you may not know exists. We saw that a lot where people simply didn't have the exposure to some of the brands that were out in the market that we're aware of working in retail, because we see it, we go through the catalogs. So contact your retailer. They're there to help you out, and you might find some gear that you didn't know existed that may be on sale.